Good morning, students. Last class we have seen how the TCP stream communication and how the UDP datagram communication. Okay. Next topic in this unit, interprocess communication, is how the client server communication will be. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about the client server communication. Yeah, coming to client server communication, we know about the relationship between the client and server. So many cases we have seen the client server communication. Like same in the distributed systems, the client and server communication will be designed to support the message exchanges, and these two, the client and server, will interact on messages by exchanging the messages. In the normal case, normally the client will request the server and the server will reply the client. In the normal case, the request reply communication is synchronous because the client process blocks until the reply arrives from the server. We know about the blocks. What is the meaning of process got blocked? The process got blocked due to any IO operation. The process got blocked due to waiting for another resources. Here, the client process blocks until it gets reply from the server process. Here, coming to asynchronous request reply communication, asynchronous sorry students, coming to asynchronous request reply communication, it is an alternative to the useful where the clients can afford to retrieve reply later. Here, in the asynchronous request reply communication, first the server will accept the request from the client and it will replies to the client later. See here, in the screen you are seeing the client server diagram. See here we have left side client system, right side server system. Here see, first the client will request to the server in the form of a message. Okay, here I told you in the distributed system, the nodes which are connected in distributed system will exchange the message, will communicate in the form of exchanging the message. Here the server system, the client system, will send a request to the server system in the form of a message. Okay, after getting the request, it gets reply from the server. The client process got blocked here. See the difference here. Here, first after requesting, the client process got blocked. Blocked means it is waiting for response from the server. It is waiting from the response. Now, in the normal cases, a process got blocked, either waiting for resources or either waiting for an IO operation. Here, see in the reply, after sending the reply is also in the form of message. The blocking process will be continued. Here, see the continuation. Okay, till it gets reply, the client process got blocked. Here, this the designed request reply protocol matches the request to replies. See, client request, server reply. This is request reply model. Here in UDP case, UDP case, normally what we are using datagrams. The datagrams are used. The delivery guarantees must be provided by request reply protocol, which may use the server reply message as an acknowledgement to the client request message. See here, in the TCP stream communication, we are having the guarantee of delivery. Here in UDP communication, we don't have the guarantee of delivery. This request reply protocol will uses in UDP. Why? Because if the client system got requested, the client system sends a reply. If server system doesn't sends reply, it is not said to be a reliable communication. Okay. See here, the message type which the client and server is exchanging is, the message type is integer value. If it is 0, it is a request. If it is 1, it is a reply. The message type is a integer value. If it is 0, it is a request. 1, it is a reply. The request ID is also an integer. The object reference, okay? The object reference is the remote object reference. The method ID is integer value or a method. The method ID is, and the arguments to be passed is the bytes. The arguments to be passed is array of bytes. These are the components of message exchange between the client and server. Message ID, message type, object reference, method ID, and arguments. Here, see the next point. The request reply protocol message structure contains the following. Here, the first field indicates whether the message is a request or reply message. Here, both are messages, right? In the first field of this protocol indicates whether it is a request message or whether it is a reply message. Request message means client to server. Reply message means server to client. Second field contains request ID. See here. See, the second field contains, first one is message type. If it is 0, then what we said? Request. 0 means request means client to server. 1 means reply from server to client. The second field, what is the second field in the above diagram? Request ID. Here, the second field request ID contains a message identifier. Okay, the message identifier should be a integer value. Here, the third field, this object reference field is a remote object reference. Here, always remote object reference means here a client system wants to access the object in. I told you so many times in earlier classes. If a process wants to execute another object, that process running on the same machine or running another machine, okay, it needs to have some reference. If the process is running on another system, okay, the other process needs to access the object in that system. In that particular, we are using the remote object reference. And last, fourth field is an identifier for the method to be invoked. Okay, that is known as method ID. What method we are going to be invoked? Next, what is message identifier? Here, the message identifier containing two parts. First one is, see, this is the point I am explaining. The message identifier is containing two parts. First one is request ID, which is taken from increasing sequence of integer by the sending process. Okay, that is taken from the sending process in the increasing sequence. Next one, the second part in the message identifier is an identifier for the sender process. For example, the identifier should be the port number and an internet address, IP address, port number, like that. Okay. See, in the next topic is failure model of request reply model. Okay, see here in the failure model, already we discussed about failure model in this unit and previous unit. In the failure model, let us see how the request reply protocol will works. If three primitives, first one is do operation, get request, and send reply, are implemented over UDP datagram. This is what these three primitives I told. I will show you these three primitives. Here, do operation is the first primitive, get request is the second primitive, send reply is the third primitive. Okay, these three primitives are applied on the UDP datagram communication. See, first one is get request, second one is first one is do operation, second one is get request, third one is send reply, are implemented over UDP datagram. They have some communication failures. Let's see what are those failures in this failure model. They suffers from omission failure. They suffer from omission failure. Omission failure means, here omission failure is two types. One is sending omission failure, one is receiving omission failure, and a transmission omission failure. Here omission means if a sender wants to send do operation, right? Send from sender, it is sending the request to do operation. It needs to go to the outgoing queue of the sender. If that outgoing queue of the sender is full, that is sending omission failure. If the request is fails in between the transmission, that is called as transmission failure. And receiving omission failure means the request reaches to the server, it needs to enter into the incoming queue or incoming buffer of the server. If the incoming queue or buffer of the receiver is full, then it is said to be receiver omission failure. Here, in this particular case, they may suffer from either of these omission failures. The second one is, as it is UDP, right? Here the messages are not guaranteed to be delivered in sending order. If we uses the TCP stream communication, we are guaranteed that the all messages are arrived in sending order. As it is UDP, there is no guarantee of sending order, delivered in sending order. Next, these two are the problems. Next problem is timeout problem. Here, coming to the timeout problem, here there are various options as what do operation can do after timeout. See, do operation can do after timeout means, see, as I told you in the as I show you in the diagram, see what happens after do operation. What happens after do operation at the client machine? This is let us assume this is an UDP datagram communication. In this UDP datagram communication, the client system, after performing do operation, what it has been done, it has been blocked. It has been waiting for the reply from the server. Okay, here what they are saying is, here the problem is about timeout. Okay, within the timeout, it needs to get a reply from the server. If not received reply from the server within a timeout, then what is the case? That is what here we are going to be discussed. Here, see here, see the highlighted point. There are various options as what do operation can do after timeout. The simplest option is to return immediately from the do operation with an indication to the client that do operation has been failed. That means a client system with do operation has requested the server. The server needs to get the server needs to send the reply within the timeout. Otherwise, the do operation got failed. The do operation has been failed, and this timeout may have been due to request or reply messages getting lost, and the operation will have been performed. Okay, this is the problem with timeout. It needs to get the reply from the server. First three primitives, right? First one is do operation. Second one is send get request. Third one is send reply. Okay, next one. Next problem. Here, discarding the duplicate request messages. Discarding the duplicate request messages. Student, listen carefully. Who will receive the duplicate request messages? The server will get the duplicate request messages. In these cases, when the request message is retransmitted, the server may receive it more than once. In which case, the request will be retransmitted. See the previous case. Within the timeout, if the client machine is unable to receive the reply from the server machine, in that case, that particular do operation got been failed. After that, what it will do? It will do the request. It will request the server once again. So the request message is transmitted again. The server may get the messages more than once. That means it get duplicate. To avoid this, the protocol is designed to recognize the successive messages with the same request identifier to filter out duplicates. See, instead of doing this, to avoid the duplicates, we need to use the request identifier. We need to use the request identifier that I mentioned. I know I told here. Here it is. Here the request ID. This is this particular one. In this particular one, the second one is request ID. This request identifier will eliminates the duplicates at the server machine. Next, lost reply messages. If the server has already sent a reply, this is the second case from server to client. If the server has already sent the reply, when it receives the duplicate request, it will need to execute the operation again to obtain the result, unless it has stored the result of the original execution. Okay, this is what in the case of lost reply messages. Next one, RPC exchange protocols. Here RPC means remote procedural call. These protocols are from client to server. Here, three protocols we are using for implementing various types of RPC. The first protocol is R protocol, that is request protocol. Second one is RR protocol. RR protocol means request reply protocol. Third one protocol is RRA protocol, that is request, reply, and acknowledgement. Three. Okay, see, request, who will request here? We will understand by seeing this particular one. The name is R protocol. This is the name is protocol name. Who will raise the request? It is by the request by the client. Here three, client, server, client. Okay, RR means here we are having request by the client and reply by the server. Next, Next, RRA. RRA means request by the client, reply by the server, and acknowledge by the client. Okay, this is the three protocols: request protocol, request reply protocol, request reply and acknowledgement protocol. Here see, these are the this is the explanation for RRA protocol. In the R protocol, request protocol, a single request message is sent by the client to server. As we know, request from server to client, the reply to the request from client to server in R protocol. In the R protocol may be used when there is no value to be returned from the remote method. Okay, this is used in the remote method also. Next one, RR protocol. This RR protocol is useful for the most client server exchanges because it is based on request reply. Okay, here this RR protocol is made based on request reply protocol. In this protocol, there is no acknowledgements is used. Just upon receiving request, it will reply to the client. Next, RRA. In this protocol, the request from client to server, the reply from server to client, the acknowledge from client to server. Next protocol is HTTP protocol, hypertext transmission protocol. It is an example of request reply protocol. Okay. As we are discussing now, request reply protocol. Here, the HTTP is a request reply protocol for the exchange of network resources between web client and web server. See, in general case, what is the use of HTTP protocol? HTTP is the application layer protocol, as we know. TCP, UDP are transport layer protocols. HTTP is the transport layer protocol. Here, the responsibility of this HTTP is, see, all we are using web browsers, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, all these are web browsers. In the web browsers, as we are giving the addresses to reach the web server, what address we are giving to reach the web server? Suppose to reach the Gmail server, what we are giving? www.gmail.com. After giving this URL address in the web browser's address bar, what the HTTP protocol will do is, it will convert that URL address to IP address. It will convert the URL address to IP address of the server, and the request will be reached to the server and it will give a response to us. Why? Because we don't know what is the IP addresses, what is the actual address. Just we are giving URL names. The HTTP protocol will exchanges. Okay, it transforms that name into address. Here, in the HTTP, first one we are going to discuss is content negotiation. Here, in the content negotiation, the client request can include information as to what data representation they can accept, enabling the server to choose the representation that is most appropriate for the user. Here there will be some content negotiation as that what type of data representation they can accept, like that. Next, authentication. This is very, very important. Here, authentication is one of security service. In this, credentials and challenges are used to support password style authentication on first attempt to access a password protected area. Server reply contains a challenge applicable to the resource. Suppose by using this HTTP protocol, we are trying to access the web server, right? This protocol will take us to the web server. In that web server, we need to give, to reach the web server, we need to give credentials, we need to give the, we are facing some password protected areas, and we are having some challenges to use this one. Next, in the HTTP protocol, see what are the steps in the protocol is. Here first, the connection establishment between client and server at the default server port or the port specified in the URL. Suppose in the URL, if we have given www.gmail.com, what it will do, it will go at the default server port. The HTTP protocol take us to the default server port, or suppose we specified any port number. Suppose while writing our online examination 192.168.82.10/8080, what is that one? That is the port number to be specified. It will take us to that particular port. Here the client sends a request message to the server. Server sends a reply to the message which is given by the client. After that, the connection is closed. Here, see what happens. Get method. This is the URL. The HTTP version is HTTP 1.1. Here it is having some headers, some message body, etc. Okay, this is the HTTP request message. Okay. In tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss about HTTP methods. In tomorrow's class, we are going to complete the second unit. Thank you, students.